On today's show, it's a tale of old boats and old motors, and the collectors who love them.
This stuff, when it's gone, it'll never be again.
It's a special kind of bond, one that lasts a lifetime. Next, meet a group that's figured out how to introduce a kid to the great outdoors. We'll tag along to learn how they did it.
All right, good job.
This week's Walk in the Park features a park that has natural wonders both above and below ground. And our Minnesota-bound classic this week takes a look back at one of America's most popular artists. We're remembering Terry Redlin. Those stories and more next. Minnesota Bound. Brought to you by Minnesota's Select GMC dealers.
Hi everybody, Raven and I welcome you to the show. You know, it seems like if you hunt or fish, you collect things, like I have old fishing lures. But our first story is about a gentleman who collects old outboards and toys around with old boats.
Well, the boat is a 1956 Larson hardtop cruiser.
There's something about old boats
Supposedly only 2 of them left.
that old boat lovers want to keep afloat.
The outside I've got it pretty well done, except
Afloat himself now for nearly 90 years, Virgil Jensen of Battle Lake, Minnesota, is one of those.
all my life I've worked around boats and took care of boats.
A boat lover with no known cure.
I guess it's a love, if you can call it. This stuff, when it's gone, it'll never be again. And there's not that many people that know how the construction is of these things. I've done one other boat, that was a 1919, and that's over in Little Falls in the Fishing Museum over there. If I get this one done, I'm looking at another one. That's original bow light.
Another old boat that needs Virgil's tender love and care.
All the stripping, metal stripping is back on.
Son Phil isn't surprised.
When he called me and told me he was going to look at this boat, I said, is this really a project that you want to start? And he said, yeah, and it's just what he loves to do. I joke with him a lot of times, I wish he would have had this kind of patience when I was a kid. Okay, so you got the windows left to do there, but everything on the deck is pretty much done.
Yep. 5, 6 coats on there already.
Today, the old boats attract father and son.
And it takes the know-how. I learned how to steam the ribs to get them to bend to fit in there.
Truth is, you don't just restore old watercraft, you fall in love with them.
My mom kind of makes the comment that he's obsessed with this boat, and I said, yeah, but just think, Mommy, he's not in your hair here in the house, so it keeps him busy, and that's what keeps him going.
It's an 18-footer. Let's call it a noshki.
And to make sure the ancient craft are not forgotten, Virgil creates models of the originals, 1 inch to the foot.
Usually build a model every winter. These are built just like the old boats would have been built. They're cedar strips, oak ribs, oak trim.
With no boat plans to follow, Virgil relies on memory to make the models.
It's just from memory, from boats that I've had and took care of. I've run one of these for quite a few years with a 10-horse motor on it.
Now, old boats needed old motors, right? So, of course, Virgil also has a soft heart for aging outboards.
Most of these right here on the end are Evinrude, Champions, Martins, OMC, and then we start getting into the Johnsons. The little green one here on the end was my father's first motor. It was gone for 60 years when I found it. It still runs. I just put poly on it and left the way it was. Next one is a 1913 Evinrude detachable rowboat motor. To find them complete is very odd. This is a 27 Evinrude here that I've been trying to find parts for and put back together. Keeps me out of the bar.
It's been said a man can never have enough fishing rods or shotguns. In Virgil's case, we should add boats and motors.
I'm dealing on another one right now, if I can get the guy to turn it loose. When they find they're old, they think they're worth a lot of money, but they're just like restored automobiles. You gotta find somebody that wants it.
You gotta find Virgil.
I'm goofy. In the motors, I try to find something that's different, otherwise I'd probably have more.
Coming up, meet a group of parents who decided to do something to get their kids outdoors. The result? Fish on! Minnesota Bound, brought to you by Minnesota Select GMC dealers. Kingtail Gator, Borderview Lodge, Jesse Treble's Safe Basements of Minnesota, and by Evan Root, the official outboard motor of Minnesota Bound.
When you think about sports for kids, you might think about baseball tournaments, basketball tournaments, but what about fishing? Is there such a thing as a fishing tournament just for kids? Travis Frank has the story.
Lake Minnetonka, home to some of Minnesota's largest competitive fishing tournaments. But this lake has never seen a group of tournament anglers quite like this.
I got 9.
Did you really?
I think I got 6.
They may look cute and innocent, but deep down, these kids are fierce fishing competitors.
Keep it on. Did you get it up?
Got it.
Today is the official championship for the American Angler Kids Fishing League.
Smile. All right, good job.
4 points for me.
Grab it by the mouth.
Winner takes home the Lake Minnetonka Cup.
Reel it in. Reel it in.
Dad.
We started about 4 years ago. A group of dads and I got together and we decided we want to have fishing kind of as like a youth sport.
Across the bay, another team hooks up.
It started as kind of a non-competitive, let's get the kids out fishing, teach them, and really the kids are the ones who have gotten into the competitive piece.
This is my second fish I caught. I've already caught a sunny. Yeah, my first bass.
I've been coaching my kids in baseball, soccer, hockey, and I have a huge passion for fishing. And I kind of looked at all the training I was going through as a coach in those sports. And one day I just had an aha moment where I said, we just need to take this model and apply it to fishing. But keep the bail open this time.
Turns out Colt's model works.
I got something too. I got, oh, let go. I'm getting a nibble. I caught something.
That was my 7th bass.
The bigger they get, the more points they are.
The kids love keeping score. They love keeping track of what they catch. And that is a rock bass. And that is worth how many points? 1 point.
This is such a great time for families to get together, and if families are too busy, there's so many volunteers that will take your kid out and show them how fun it is to catch some fish and to be with their friends.
I love the league, and it's just a calming moment when you are fishing, but then it goes crazy when you catch fish.
Good job.
99% of the time, the attitude's fantastic.
It gets them excited about fishing. They want to come fishing. They don't want to miss fishing league night.
All right, good job.
As time winds down, Team Simpsons hauls in their final catch of the season.
All right, guys, I think it's time to reel them up. Yeah, I know.
Back on shore, the anticipation builds.
Good deal. Johnny, did you have fun?
Colt tallies the final points.
All right.
20 sunnies,
So for 30 points.
And young anglers become champions.
And in first place, the instigators were the champions.
American Angler Kids League just might be the fishing league of the future.
1, 2, 3, bass.
Next up, head to the Bluff Country to explore another of Minnesota's state parks. Find out why it's the perfect spot to beat the summer heat. Closed captioning is brought to you by The Yard, premier manufacturers of maintenance-free outdoor patio furniture and accessories from recycled plastic.
As we all know, Minnesota has many gems of state parks. So coming up is a walk in the park at Forestville State Park. Our videographer, Mickey Uss, took the walk.
Mystery Cave is a large cave, 13 miles long, 75 feet from the surface at this point. The ceilings are incredibly flat. They look man-made, but these are all natural surfaces. Forestville Mystery Cave State Park is located in southeast Minnesota. We're about 40 miles south of Rochester, Minnesota. The park was established in 1963. This cave is the result of water dissolving away the limestone. The south branch of the Root River flows by, and that water is actually sinking through the stream bed into layers of bedrock through fractures in the rock. And those fractures connect with enlarged portions of this cave, but it's a shortcut for water flow, and so that's why it's here. It was found in 1937, discovered by men who actually dug into it, and immediately after it was found, the cave was developed for tours. Well, we're in Mystery Cave now in the middle of summer. The temperature is always the same down here. It's 48 degrees. It feels really nice on a day like today. The passages that we're in here are obviously air-filled, and once they're air-filled like this, other things occur. Stalactites, stalagmites, there are draperies, flowstone, pools and lakes. You can see the cave processes occurring right before your eyes. The cave consists of this network of corridors that are in a maze-like pattern. The distances of these long straight passageways extend up to a quarter mile and even further. We're looking at some shelf stone, something you just don't see every day in caves. But the flat shelves represent a former water surface, and underneath are some of these globular clusters that are only formed in a submerged condition. This area is called Turquoise Lake. It's got this pretty blue color because of the dissolved minerals. It's just crystal clear water with that bluish tinge to it. The old name for this spot is Frozen Falls. It's an area that is wet all year round. Even in the middle of the winter, water is dripping out of the ceiling here. It hits the flowstone down below, and then it eventually ends up in this little pool underneath. There's been water dripping here far longer than people have been around. Within the park is an area called Historic Forestville, and there are living history tours.
The people on that side of the road here are living in the year 1899.
People who work there portray real individuals who used to live and work at that town.
I started wearing long pants when I was 12. Oh, look at that. She's got a fungus on her nails. Look at that. Most of us can't afford frivolous things like toys for the children. You give him a barrel hoop and a stick and he'll play all day long.
Horseback riding is very popular. There's a campground just for the horseback riders. One trail in particular that's really nice is called the Palisade Trail. It's just a beautiful sight, not just because of the river, but on the other bank of the river are these towering cliffs that extend up. There are 3 blue ribbon trout streams, 4,000 fish per mile, so there's plenty of fish to catch. Mystery Cave is really a gem in the state park system. for the diversity of experiences visitors can have and get a wonderful experience underground.
Still ahead, our Minnesota Bound Classic remembers a true legend in the artistic world. Minnesota Bound, brought to you by Connecticut, Ellsworth Creamery, and by Totem Resorts.
You know, it's no secret that Minnesota and other Midwestern states are famous for producing the great wildlife artists in America. Well, it's time to remember one of them who recently passed away, the one and only Terry Redland.
If life is but a circle, Terry Redland is rounding the bend and happy to be there.
I'm just a farm kid, actually, from South Dakota.
After creating hundreds of wildlife paintings and thousands of signatures, his own, Redland has returned home to his boyhood haunts, to his roots, and to the places that inspired his artwork.
I love it back here. I absolutely love it. When I was 10 years old, I remember right on this beach in front every day, I said to myself, if ever when I grow up I could get a spot here, I'd do it. And that's like 40 years ago now.
Make that 40 amazing years ago. Where the prairie meets the sky is where Redland launched one of the country's most successful artistic careers. So successful, a recent U.S. art survey revealed that Redland prints were #1 in sales for 5 consecutive years. He may also lead the wildlife art world in sold-out editions, and it's easy to see why. Redland is a wildlife artist with a warm style that clearly identifies his work.
It's fun once in a while to see him, like if I go into somebody's house or something without thinking about, I'll see one of my pieces on the wall. Then I'm seeing it instantly like a stranger sees it for the first time.
A typical artist, Redland is more comfortable covering the canvas than judging what's on it.
And that's why I don't criticize other people's works. Why would I? I mean, I do what I do, the way I like to do it, and if people like it, great. If they don't, great.
Redland's artistic trail began in the commercial field as a playing card designer, and later as an illustrator and magazine art director. But that trail changed course in 1977, when Redland released his first wildlife painting, entitled Apple River Mallards. Painting wildlife brought Redland back to where he wanted to be.
And I was 15. My thought was, well, I loved guns, hunting, and fishing. So I was going to be a taxidermist or a gunsmith or a forest ranger. I thought, that's great. Outside or anything to do with hunting and fishing was my main goal in life.
But a year later, at age 16, Redland lost a leg in a freak motorcycle accident, and his outdoor ambitions had to be modified.
I don't really hunt at all anymore, and I fish not that much, but the flavor of it's all here, and I paint it instead, and I get every bit as much of a kick out of doing that. So I've got the best of all worlds.
With Redland's fame has come fortune, of course. His work today is more for fun than a paycheck.
If you enjoy what you're doing and there's nobody directly over you saying to do it differently, that's as rich as you can get. And like I say, I'm 59 now. I'm enjoying myself. I've hit the part where I can flow along and just enjoy it.
In the meantime, rows of brushes await their turn. Await Redland's hand as the brush flows across the canvas, leaving behind another magazine cover or a nostalgic setting or a painting with a conservation message.
This painting is called The Helping Hand. It's a kind of a tribute to all the farmers that helped through the winter, the deer herds.
So Redland keeps painting and signing his signature and signing it again.
I tried to retire a couple of years back, about 3-4 years ago. I thought I'd take a year off and see what it's like, and I got so bored I couldn't stand it. My goal is to just keep on painting and forever, until I can't anymore.
Terry Redland. Nobody could paint a sunset like Terry. Well, that about does it for us. Remember, introduce a kid to the great outdoors. I'm Ron Sharon, and always the star of the show is Raven. What, are you sleeping on the job, huh?
Transportation provided by Premier Transportation. Call 1-800-899-7433. For more information on these stories and more, catch us on the web at mnbound.com.